you tell us a little bit about what was once a normal Ford Falcon ute?
Yeah, so over a few beers one night, we decided to do something a bit crazy. We got a Ford Falcon XR6 Turbo ute and mated it with a Nissan Z32 rear end. So we put an IRS setup in it. We've kept the Barra turbo engine, makes about 500 kilowatts at the wheels, and it's great fun to drive. Just the car needs a bit more setup to compete here with the quality of cars and drivers. So hopefully next year we'll be out on track.
I love that this idea came after a few beers. Can you explain this tinny for me?
Well, this was probably after a few more beers, but this is actually just a little tinny, and Grub from Impossible Fab decided he was going to strap a Honda F20C engine in it. It's got a jet pump out of a Yamaha jet ski, and just going to have a single seat up the front and top speed runs down the Georges River, I reckon.
We're here down here with the Expo Yates Kiichi Tsuchiya 86. Obviously, he's having his first run in the open class of World Time Attack. Bare carbon fibre body parts, obviously a vacuum forced radiator. This thing is absolutely immaculate. It's like a show car, but this is a race car. And absolutely very, very fast and a beautiful thing. Obviously, professionally maintained and built cars to home builds. This is a friend of mine, John Papadakis' home built Z4. It's a tribute to sort of a GT3 style car, but this thing has an M5 V10 engine, and he built this himself in his garage and has brought it out here to World Time Attack, and really just shows the sort of extremes of preparation in this thing. And we welcome everyone here. It's a chance for anyone who loves cars and who loves driving their cars to get out and show what they're capable of. So John done a very, very good job. Anyway, moving on to Rob Gooley's car. We had a quick interview with these guys before. Again, just a beautiful, well-presented car. The wrap on the car is just absolutely fantastic, and if we open up the door, you can see even in your open class cars, very Spartan, very functional cockpits that really are designed just to have nothing else there but for the driver to get the best job done they possibly can as well. One of the sort of themes of the day today, I guess, is pushing cars to their limits and beyond. Now, as we know, Will had to change an engine yesterday, put his better engine in, but went out there for his first session trying to get some dry laps and has actually had a transmission issue.
You've got the rear end of your car here. I mean, most people are normally looking in the engine bay, but there's a work of art going on at the back of your car as well.
Yeah, so my dad, Kessler Olive Corona, he basically spends a lot of time in the shed. Yeah, he cut the whole back end of the car off. Prior to that, he took a mould. So yeah, we got a one-piece rear clip going on there. So yeah, we took it off to show everyone sort of the engineering that comes out of New Zealand.
Equally as spectacular with this V12 engine in here. We were having a look at it yesterday, but for those who didn't get a chance to see, tell us about this amazing engine.
Yeah, so look, Brendan Hartley, who is currently competing in Formula One, his brother Nelson Hartley is the brains behind all of this. He's completely rebuilt this, what started off as a Toyota V12, into what we now call a Hartley V12. Everything inside of it's completely custom made. We're revving it to 10,000 RPM this weekend. It's making just under 700 horsepower at the wheels. So yeah, come and check it out. It's insane.
Do you have any idea what speed you're doing down the front straight? Because I hear that it might be around 200 that you guys are munging down there.
So our ratios are tapping out at 270. We're at the top of top gear, and we're just tapping on 9 grand. So I reckon 170k. We don't have a GPS on it, so yeah, guess.
Yeah, but how about that? You wouldn't be asking, there wouldn't be too many drifters out there in Driftland going and buying their superchargers from the blower shop, but there it is for you right on screen now.
This Honda Civic is quite an interesting take on Honda. It's rear-wheel drive, I believe.
Yes, so we've mated this Honda Civic with a Nissan S15. It's got a S15 engine, front crossmember, strut tops, and in the rear it's got the rear factory S15 subframe with all the strut tops. It makes about 420 kilowatts at the wheels and is an absolute weapon of a car.
As you can see, I'm sitting in here, got the wheel in front of me and the screen in front of that, so all of the information a driver needs. You know, they've got the shift lights, engine oil pressure, temperature, what gear you're in, all that sort of stuff. Very easily accessible right there. Also as well, obviously this shifter for the Hollinger transmission. Now that's literally just a sequential transmission, and with this car, because it has the strain gauge in it, when you pull back on that lever, it actually cuts spark to the engine just for a millisecond, so allows the car to go fully clutchless on the upshifts and full throttle as well. On the way down, these guys don't run the auto blip, so you've got to blip it on the way down. So he's really driving this car as well. Other than that, the only other switches he has are to turn the thing on and to adjust the brake bias. So in a car without the ABS, that's a big factor in making this car handle and perform. And it's just a real reminder of just literally how focused these cars are. There is nothing in here that Warren Luff doesn't need in order to make it go fast, which I think is pretty bloody cool.
And look at the craftsmanship in the V Sport Toyota. Incredible, is it not?
Oh, it's a beautiful build.
The engine is derived from Nissan, so to a lot of people that may come across as a bit controversial, but it is a 5.6 litre V8 in the car.
Have a look at that wing.
Needs a bit more wing.
You reckon it needs a bit more wing?
No,
that's the wing you provided for it, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's a hell of a lot of wing.
One of the things that is common up and down pit lane is every single competitor that is racing in the 2018 Yokohama World Time Attack Challenge has to use these Yokohama tyres, the A050 Advan tyre. So the tyre decisions actually begin very, very early on in the design of a car. So the size of the tyre, the width, so what you can see here is limited based on the mass of the car when it's final sky. So any car over 1,001 kilos, they get to use a 295 millimeter tyre, whereas any car below 700 kilos has to use a 205 millimeter wide tyre. So one of the unique things with the tyres that we use at the World Time Attack Challenge is that they're obviously not slick tyres like we have in other categories. So what you can see here is lots of grooves, and that adds a challenge to the engineers who are trying to maintain and monitor the car's performance. Tyre temperatures are a critical thing for achieving as much grip as possible. But these blocks in between the grooves, they shift around under the enormous pressures and loads that the downforce and the side, the lateral accelerations and the longitudinal accelerations these cars generate. So monitoring those temperatures is really important. And how do they do that? Well, when the cars come into the pit lane, they'll use monitor gauges like this, and they'll just stab the tyre across and take temperature measurements, as well as measure the pressures at the end of the run. So this is a really important thing for managing the tyre performance and trying to get the maximum out of the tyre. When the tyre gets too hot, it starts to blister and you lose grip. So what you have to try and do is manage your tyre bank. Different classes get different number of tyres. The Pro class, for example, the Pro class that we're competing in, we get 24 tyres to use over the weekend, whereas as you go down the categories, you get less and less tyres, and therefore you can't use as many laps as possible. So managing tyres is a critical part of achieving the one optimum lap.
Everyone puts their own spin on it. Everyone puts their own flavour on it. There's so many different variations on the aero. There's so many different variations on engine packages and transmissions and all that sort of stuff. And again, that's what people really want to see from Time Attack. It's the different attitudes and different avenues you can take. As you can see, we've got obviously with RP968, we've got crazy billet engines and rear-wheel drive. Then Adam Kazmiri's got his front-wheel drive, crazy little CRX. So obviously there's many ways to get the job done. And that's, again, what we like about this series. So everyone, get on down here. I'm going to keep moving through the pits. Get up close to the cars, meet the drivers. It's a fantastic way for you to experience World Time Attack for your very self.